Okay. Welcome, everyone, to the Chenrezig Tibetan Buddhist Center live Zoom. Namgyal Khensur Geshe Lobsang Tenzin's teaching. Today, Rinpoche will be going over a few of the stanzas of Lama Tsongkhapa's Foundation of All Good Qualities, or the Source of All My Good. So before we get started, give everybody a moment to make prostrations, and I'll be right with everyone. I just made prostrations. I just want to get a couple more things set up. So one moment, everybody just take this time to set your motivation for all sentient beings. The purpose of attending this teaching should be to become a Buddha for the sake of all sentient beings. And it's for that reason that we're listening to this holy Dharma. So make prostrations, and we'll begin in one moment with the Sutra of the Heart of Transcendent Knowledge. Okay. The Sutra of the Heart of Transcendent Knowledge. Thus have I heard, once the Blessed One was dwelling in Rajagriha at Vulture Peak Mountain, together with a great gathering of the Sangha of monks and a great gathering of the Sangha of Bodhisattvas. At that time, the Blessed One entered the samadhi that expresses the Dharma called profound illumination. At the same time, noble Avalokiteshvara, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva, while practicing the profound Prajnaparamita, saw in this way. He saw the five skandhas to be empty of nature. Then, through the power of the Buddha, Venerable Shariputra said to noble Avalokiteshvara, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva, how should a son or daughter of noble family train who wishes to practice the profound Prajnaparamita? Addressed in this way, noble Avalokiteshvara, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva said to Venerable Shariputra, O Shariputra, a son or daughter of noble family who wishes to practice the profound Prajnaparamita should see in this way. Seeing the five skandhas to be empty of nature, form is emptiness, emptiness also is form, emptiness is no other than form, form is no other than emptiness. In the same way, feeling, perception, formation, and consciousness are emptiness. Thus, Shariputra, all dharmas are emptiness. There are no characteristics, there is no birth and no cessation, there is no impurity, no purity, there is no decrease and no increase. Therefore, Shariputra, in emptiness there is no form, no feeling, no perception, no formation, no consciousness, no eye, no ear, no nose, no tongue, no body, no mind, no appearance, no sound, no smell, no taste, no touch, no dharmas, no I dhatu, up to no mind dhatu, no dhatu of dharmas, no mind consciousness dhatu, no ignorance, no ignorance, up to no old age and death, no end of old age and death, no suffering, no origin of suffering, no cessation of suffering, no path, no wisdom, no attainment, and no non-attainment. Therefore, Shariputra, since the Bodhisattvas have no attainment, they abide by means of Prajnaparamita. Since there is no obscuration of mind, there is no fear. They transcend falsity and attain complete nirvana. All the Buddhas of the three times by means of Prajnaparamita fully awaken to unsurpassable, true, complete enlightenment. Therefore, the great mantra of Prajnaparamita, the mantra of great insight, the unsurpassed mantra, the unequaled mantra, the mantra that calms all suffering should be known as truth, since there is no deception. Prajnaparamita mantra is said in this way: Teata Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasangate Bodhisoha. Thus Shariputra, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva, should train in the profound Prajnaparamita. Then the Blessed One arose from that samadhi and praised noble Avalokiteshvara, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva, saying, Good, good, O son of noble family, thus it is, O son of noble family, thus it is. One should practice the profound Prajnaparamita just as you have taught, and all the Tathagatas will rejoice. When the Blessed One had said this, Venerable Shariputra and noble Avalokiteshvara, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva, that whole assembly in the world with its gods, humans, asuras, and Gandharvas, rejoiced and praised the words of the Blessed One. Kala jube ne jo damba ne ngushe du chung a yi du do jen zhe ba bo la ma yi bu jin zi ne zong an zhe zo la ja zi lo ga zaman. Samara Dajandara Samara Yame De Adong Gade Gade Bara Gade Bara Sangade Bodhisattva Baba Ganja Zanji Gaye Deme Doji She Oba Doji Mega Doji Shewa Doji Dagi Baji Medo Mejo Danji Jedin Gari Zo Eri No Nya Yo Wada Medo No Be Jendan De Wada Dumba Dunji Munzun Dun Yoji Dashi Deja. fundamental ground is scented with incense and strewn with flowers, adorned with Mount Meru, the four continents, the sun and the moon. I imagine this as a Buddha land and offer it. May all sentient beings enjoy this pure realm. Holy Lamas high, wrap the sky of your Dharma bodies in massive clouds of knowledge and love, and let them pour upon the earth of your disciples as we are ready. Shower of rain, the teachings deep and wide. Come, humble Bogadu. I send forth this jeweled mandala to you, precious Guru. Idam Guru Radhamandalagam Niradayami. Jadan Jadi Janam La Janjo Badu Dani Jazuji Dagi Jenye Jibe Nam Jidala Benje Zanye Jubajo. Jadan Jadi Janam La Janjo Badu Dani Jazuji Dagi Jenye Jibe Zanani Jala Benje Zanye Jubajo. Yadan Jari Janam La Janju Badu Dani Jazuji Dagi Junye Jibe Zanani Jala Benji Zanye Jubashu. The Natsu Yuntenchi Jama Shiluka Kashe Da Ine Natsu Shloka J Drosar, the Yuntenshunji, the Kanga Chinsar, then she Shena Natsu, the Yanje lesson, the Natsu, the Shintu Detschi Yahudu. Okay, so welcome everybody again to the teaching on the source of all my good. We went over some of these stanzas already, so we'll just read up to where we are with a brief summary attached to it, and we'll go over again. Rinpoche and I looked at Pabunka's commentary and just saw some points of interest, but there are definitely two ways of explaining it, but there's just some added nice ornament that we can give to one of the stanzas. So, the source of all my good is my kind Lama, my Lord. Bless me first to see that taking myself to him or her in the proper way is the very root of the path, and grant me then to serve and follow him or her with all my strength and reverence. So once you've found a spiritual teacher the proper way by checking to make sure they are qualified to be a spiritual teacher, qualified to be someone who will lead you out of cyclic existence, who is qualified to lead you out of the three types of suffering, and someone is disqualified if what they teach just creates more of among those three types of suffering. So we can find many meditations and so forth that will lead us to concentration states that may be in the form or formless realm that could be mistaken for glimpses of nirvana, but they are not nirvana, and they are just merely cyclic existence. So we need to make sure we have a teacher who is not going to teach us faulty paths. And then the next is, bless me first thus to recall the excellent life of leisure I found just this once is ever so hard to find and ever so valuable. Grant me then to never stop to wish that I could take its essence night and day. My body and the life in it are fleeting as the bubbles in the sea froth of a wave. Bless me first thus to recall the death that will destroy me soon, and help me find sure knowledge that after I've died, the things I've done, the white or black, and what those deeds will bring to me follow always close behind, as certain as my shadow. The Rinpoche. Grant me then to ever be careful to stop the slightest wrongs, the many wrong we do, and try to carry out instead each and every good of the many that we may. Bless me to perceive all that's wrong with the seemingly good things of this life. I can never get enough of them. They cannot be trusted. They are the door to every pain I have. Grant me then to strive instead for the happiness of freedom. Grant that these pure thoughts may lead me to watchful, to recall what I should be doing. Grant me to give the greatest care to make the vows of morality the essence of my practice. They are the root of Buddhist teachings. I have slipped and fallen into the sea of this suffering life. Bless me to see that every living being, everyone my own mother, has fallen into. Grant me then to practice the wish for enlightenment, to take on myself the task of freeing them all. So when we look at Pabunka's commentary, we see this leads up to this aspirational state of bodhicitta that then must turn into engaged bodhicitta. And we see here where the 6 perfections begin to be presented. Bless me to perceive clearly that the wish itself is not enough. The wish to become a Buddha for the sake of all sentient beings is not enough. For if I'm not well trained in the 3 moralities, I cannot become a Buddha. Grant me then a fierce resolve to master the bodhisattva vows. So we found in Pabunka's commentary where it says the 3 moralities are the morality of abandoning non-virtue, basically, the morality of collecting massive amounts of virtue, and then the morality of working for sentient beings, doing all the moralities for the sake of sentient beings. So it's saying in Pabunka's commentary that grant me then a fierce resolve to master the bodhisattva vows. So at this point, the Lama Tsongkhapa is talking about the first 4 perfections of generosity, ethics, patience, and effort, according to Pabunka's commentary. And then this next stanza is where we find the last 2 perfections of concentration and wisdom. And Rinpoche said that's an adequate way that it could be explained as well. So he thought that we could present that. So then we have, grant me that I may quickly gain the path where quietude and insight join together, one which quiets my mind from being distracted to wrong objects, and the other which analyzes the perfect meaning in the correct way. So wrong objects could be objects of observation that are incorrect in relation to the view. So for instance, we see the Hashan view, the Chinese abbot, who said that any kind of conceptuality was a wrong object and that one needed to empty one's mind. And so here, this would be considered a wrong object. The emptying of a mind would be a wrong object. And then there's a mention of sticks and so forth. But then I asked Rinpoche about that, and he said, well, you could see a stick gain single-pointed concentration and then recognize the emptiness of that stick. So I can't say that that would be a wrong object, but it could be a wrong object if you're speaking of specifically only the object of observation being the correct view of emptiness. So it's just ways of looking at it. Then the lupi ye yula yangwa shije ching shin digre shin pon shin the digre then the yene the demba drupi gong digamare de me pasha de demba drupi gom lupi yula yangwa shije ching demba drupa gom garichin
lupi yula yangwa tab meba larjila men gomba yina sai mai ma jedal sal tawso da lupi yula shono.
So if we're trying to gain single pointed concentration, we're trying to gain it focused on one object specifically. So it's saying the wrong objects, Rinpoche is saying, are any object other than that object of observation that you're utilizing for your single pointed concentration. So for instance, if you're meditating on a deity, you're only meditating on that deity. You're not being distracted to other objects and of that deity. So you're not being distracted to other objects. The yanda dunla sushin jp yi the la demba madrupa yimba. The Tony drapo dene the lopi yola yenwa shije chin the drawa gare lopi yola yenwa shije chin yanda dunzi sushin the drawa gare the shine dan latun gare Rinpoche.
다 신의 구조도 말이야.
The shine, the hla gong, la the gender gong jagamai, la kona, the shine, the hla ton, the hla demba madrupa yin. Yo maribe.
하통스나 신의 구조 통화를 하버지 통화에서 하통. 세는 좋으셔.
Sid then Tony and Goa, Platon, Tony and Goa. So Rinpoche is saying it's the analysis clarifies the object when you can combine calm abiding and special insight. So Rinpoche is saying that the object of observation of special insight is not always necessarily have to be emptiness. The shine, the hlatong yin toni yin mago. Ale. Then the sheen, sheen. So you could have special insight in relation to a stick, Rinpoche is saying. Then the sheen la mipe latong yu. Then the shiloka de sheen la mipe. Shine dans Latin, digribe, this. Then the yanda dun su shin, yanda dun, yanda bidawa yomare. Ale. Okay, so very interesting. So this so the path where quietude and insight join together, one which quiets my mind from being distracted to wrong objects, the other which analyzes the perfect meaning in the correct way. Yanda dun, yanda bidawa dun yomare. Yanda dun sushin. So here it's saying that, so let's look at this stanza. So grant that I may quickly gain the path where quietude and insight join together. So this is a union of calm abiding and special insight. So Rinpoche is saying, one which quiets my mind from being distracted to wrong objects. So quietude would be a single pointed concentration. So Rinpoche said that could be with a stick, and the other which analyzes the perfect meaning in the correct way. Rinpoche is saying the meaning of the object of observation becomes extremely clear through analysis. So the understanding of the object. So Rinpoche is saying you could have special insight in relation to the object stick. So it's just an interesting way of looking at this in terms of meditation and the union of calm abiding. Then the Pobunka, the Shintu, the Santen Dang Shera, the Shiloka, the Jimba Tsuchin Zupa Zundru. Then the Samten Shera. Then share up the Tony Dopi Yung Mogo. So wisdom does not even necessarily require emptiness. Then share up the Demba Madrupi Dopa Magoa. Ale. Then the Mota Dan share up Yure. Okay, so there's the wisdom understanding how to drive, for instance. The Moti Dopi Shera, Mota Dan Dopi Shera Yurube. The wisdom realizing how to drive, for instance. So Pabunka says this stanza is the first four perfections, basically. Bless me to perceive that the wish itself is not enough, and then that you must practice the three moralities, must engage in the six perfections, must engage an engaged bodhicitta by taking the 18 root and the 46 secondary vows, and then in the practice of the six perfections, gain a union of calm abiding and special insight through the practice of concentration and wisdom. But understand that calm abiding and special insight, then shin lamipi shine dan latung yu. Okay, so there is calm abiding and special insight in relation to the object of observation stick. Just some more facts that you can put to your knowledge of Buddhism and then try to apply them where necessary. So Single pointed concentration is focusing on one object and not wavering from that. If you're thinking of a stick, not thinking of a rock and not thinking of emptiness, just thinking of a stick. If your object of observation is emptiness, just thinking of emptiness. And then the special insight is the analysis part. So there's analytical meditation and single pointed meditation. So the analysis of that object then can unite with that single pointed concentration to produce a much clearer understanding. And that's how when it unites with emptiness, it clarifies that understanding. Rinpoche's had some stuff, not bad stuff, just a lot of busy things going on the last few days. So maybe we'll just stop here and go on to questions. We always want to make sure everybody can say hi to Rinpoche and see him, but he's just a little bit tired. So maybe we can do question and answer. I'll give everybody a minute or so, and then we'll go from there. The Triwa Dan Lenja, Dirbe, the Kambason, the Labja Irbe.
Nasa the Nyabudula, Halagazunda, Drumagazunda.
So it's important to remember that when we look at COVID-19, the antidote for this is really meditation upon and mantra recitation of Tara and Medicine Buddha. Tara, Om Tare, Tu Tare, Ture, Soha, and Medicine Buddha. Teata Om Beginzi Beginzi Maha Beginzi Ranzo Samogati Soha. He says it's snowing a lot outside. And again, I want to apologize for not having class first Wednesday. We had that big snowstorm, and we also had some other things going on at the same time. So I literally didn't even click that it was Wednesday morning, and Lich had reminded me Sunday, and then even texted me Wednesday morning, but I was in the midst of, doing the different stuff that goes on here, and it totally slipped my mind. So I apologize. So I think maybe for even the next month, until we get into spring, we may put the first Wednesday on hold, just because the dialysis schedule may change again. So I just want to see where we're going to really be at by the next first Wednesday, instead of changing it and then changing it again. So we'll just probably postpone it for the next one or the one after that, and then restart it. So let's see if we have questions. So again, I apologize. Everything's moving moment to moment around here. We almost didn't make it in time in for class just now. Long story. Good morning. Katie, the Nadra Dele. Tashile Sedu, Nadra Dele. Alessandra. Okay, first, thank you for your efforts in health promotion and reestablishment. There is so much talk of realizing. Is there a difference between knowing and realizing? Can you clear understanding if there is a difference? The Doni Dopi Shira. Realizing and understanding. The nga toma ni shingi, yine nga doni dopi shera me. The chapagare, dopa dan shin, chapagare, shinwa dan dopa chapagare. Nga shingi, nga the dopa yere, chapagare.
Shiwasana. Lani Gumba Yina Satung Tung Dimbala Sibishida Medabodai Shiwan
Shingudu, Pla Shindu.
Tung Tung Dimbala Sibamudu.
I see. Oh, I think that may be a dullness, though. The Yomari, the nga shegdu, nga de mota dan shenyu. Yine the nga mota dopi shira. Nga mota dan shena, mota dopi shira yobi cha. All right, so I'm having trouble with some of the lexicon on this. So if you can know something, you can have an understanding of something clearly, but not realize it. If you look at the levels of realizing an object, you go through various stages. First of wrong view about it altogether. And then you have doubt, which may be tending to false, doubt tending like equal, and then doubt tending towards what's true. So you go all through these stages and you end up at correctly assuming consciousness. And then you end up eventually at inference, where you, through inference, understand something, and then you can directly perceive it. So there are definite stages of realization. So the semantics of what the words, you'd have to define what you mean by the words you're saying. Like you can kind of have an general understanding of something, but not a realization of it. So you could generally understand, have a correctly assuming consciousness about emptiness without really, without reliance upon a sign, and then get to a point where you have reliance upon a sign. But would that be considered a direct realization? No, but you would have an inferential realization. So it just depends on how you define knowing and realization. Realization is the clearest understanding of it. John Berta, Rinpoche, John, Tashirale Rinpoche. I am questioning, it is very difficult to understand that all sentient beings have been my mother, and to remember their kindness appears that it requires great patience. Is it true that this is a meditation for a lifetime, and how not to get discouraged? The Katie, the Triwa, Yure, the Semchen Tamche Marshepa Gom, Kali Kapudu, Gangisena Semchen Kashe, Kali Kapu, Natsu Zingdu, then Natsu Lonang, then Natsu the Pentogumare. Then Natsu Zupa Magona Semchen Tamche Marshe Kali Kapudu, then Lapcha Yurube Rinpoche. The Semchen Tamche Marshe Gon, the Gare Pentodu.
Maya Bagona, Marshe, Telatin Chenrezig,
Lesser,
Chenrezig, Yung Shama Jung,
lesser,
Jung,
lesser.
Shangchu Senjung.
Then Kongi Triwa, the Senchen Tamche Marshepa, Jugare. Gangisene Kon de Jena Kali Kapudu, say de, Nima Dakpa de Lobjung She Gona, Gugudwe. Nima Dakpa Gon Jagudwe. Then the Semchen Tamche Marshe Gon, Jugare. Danyon, yo Marabe. Nene. So the way that we can establish, so Rinpoche said it's very good if you can every day work at this in a lifetime. And the cause of recognizing that all sentient beings are our mother is meditating on all the reasons that they are our mother. And we meditate on that over and over again. And then this understanding generates this idea that sentient beings are our mothers. Then that causes us to remember their kindness. That causes us to wish to repay their kindness. That causes us to have love for them through the force of attraction. That causes us to have great compassion, which causes us to have the extraordinary attitude, which causes us to generate the mind that aspires to enlightenment, Rinpoche said. Then kon the Senchen Tamche Marshepa gon le labudu. In a Jin Demba Jin Zoa Kali Kapudu. Then Kandre the Jutsen. The Garipentodu. Jin Demba Jin Zoa. The Gom Garipentodu.
Maya Matavishantantuna.
So if you think very, very deeply about a mother and what a mother does for a child, then you will very easily generate, if you establish this idea that all sentient beings are a mother, then you start to think of the reasons they've been so kind to you, and you remember that kindness. If you establish them are a mother and then look at what they've done, you will generate this remembrance of their kindness and a wish to repay it. Okay, I think that's all the questions. We'll do the concluding prayer. Again, thank you everybody for your patience and Yeah. And there's nothing, Rinpoche's health is very, very well. His labs are all very good. We just, as we go through these things, there's procedures that have to take place, and those procedures can make people tired. So I just want to let everybody know, though, that Rinpoche's health is very great. The peritoneal dialysis is going better than ever, and we're all very hopeful for extremely long life. Okay, so we'll do concluding prayers. Fundamental ground is scented with incense and strewn with flowers, adorned with Mount Meru, the four continents, the sun, and the moon. I imagine this is a Buddha land and offer it. May all sentient beings enjoy this pure realm. I dedicate whatever virtues I've collected for the benefit of the teachings and of all sentient beings, and in particular for the essential teachings of Venerable Losang Drakpa to shine forever. I send forth this jeweled mandala to you, precious Guru. I dedicate all this virtue to emulate the knowledge of the hero Manjushri and likewise Samantabhadra as well, with whatever dedication is praised as supreme by all the conquerors who traverse the 3 times. I also dedicate all my roots of virtue for the sake of auspicious deeds. In that pure land surrounded by snowy mountains, you are the source of all benefit and happiness, all powerful Avalokiteshvara, Tenzin Gyatso, stay until samsara's end. I pray for the long life of the precious Khensur Wandak, upholder of scriptural and realizational doctrines, spiritual friend who trained extensively in the 5 great philosophical texts with exceptional wisdom and perseverance. Tuji Rinpoche Gutsi Shapi Denona. See everybody later. One last, can Rinpoche teach Maitreya's ornament of clear light? The ornament for clear light. Ornament for the ornament for clear realization. Ngudujen. The Abhisama Alamkara. I think that's what we're speaking of. Rinpoche, the Katie, the Ngudujen Sonchanagu. Yeah, that would be good. We'll see what we can do for that. Yeah, in the future, if we can. That would take an enormous effort, but we would love to do that if we can. Okay, thank you, everybody.